Hey guys, how are you today? Welcome to my channel. Um, I just want to give you a preview on the World Tour finals, which are coming up. Um, yeah, it should be an interesting tournament, and anything could happen, really. There's so many great players there, and should be interesting. Why don't you write in the comments who do you think is going to be in the final, the semi-finals, and maybe who's going to win? And I'll give you my prediction and what's going to go on. We have the draw now since a couple of days, so I just want to let you know who I think is going to win. So I would say we need to go for the group stage first. So firstly, what I would say is this: is I would say Nadal is in the Nadal versus Djokovic, who got a better group? I would say Nadal, because if you let's look at Nadal's group, right? Compare the groups of Nadal and Djokovic's group. So who does Nadal have in his group? Well, he has Thiem. Now, just like him, Nadal faces the challenge to adapt from his favorite clay to the worst sort of surface would be either grass or indoors. But then with Thiem in his group, he's not facing someone who would prefer to play on this surface and will shorten the points and have a huge serve and all of that. He's playing someone who's facing the same problem, adapting from the faster surfaces, from clay to the faster surfaces. So it's just a matter who will adapt better. Then he's got Tsitsipas, who hasn't done really well. And then he's got Rublev. Rublev's been playing well. He's good on this surface. It is a challenge, but he's the eighth ranked player. So even though it's a challenge, Nadal should be able to get him. But the highest ranked players with the best chance, he's facing Thiem that prefers the clay, right? Then he's also facing Tsitsipas that's not really in form. So I would say that's a good group. Whereas Djokovic's group, the higher ranked player in the top four, instead of Thiem, he's got Medvedev. Now, like I said, with Thiem, is also the clay court and adapting your game and all of that. But Thiem won the US Open on the clay in Roland Garros, only made the quarterfinals, was tied and run down. His home Vienna, which is much easier than a top eight on this sort of surface, he went out in around the quarterfinals or so. So he's not really in good form. Then he had an injury, he had to stop training and all of this. Whereas Medvedev, the other top four guy, who's just come off winning in Paris. So obviously you'd rather, and he likes this surface, unlike Thiem. It's ideal for his game. So you'd much rather have on this surface, under this situation with Thiem off an injury and Medvedev winning, who would you rather have in your group? You would much rather have Thiem trying to adapt from clay to a fast service, coming off an injury, hasn't done much since the US Open. You would want him, not Medvedev, off that top eight tournament. Then, if you look at the next level of players, the sort of 5, 6 ranking, you have a choice between Zverev or Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas hasn't done well um, lately, but Zverev has won a couple of tournaments and made the final in Paris. So you get both Paris finalists in one group. Medvedev in form, and also Zverev, who's been in a lot of great form lately, as opposed to the other two on the other side of the group. One guy, Thiem, hasn't done anything since the US Open, being injured. Game doesn't like the surface. Plus Tsitsipas, he's not in form lately. He's not playing very well. Then when it comes to the last two, 8, 9 guys, we're at the top 9 because we've got no Roger Federer. So you got Schwartzman. On this side, Nadal's group is harder from the most bottom ranked player. But like I said, if you're Nadal and Djokovic's level, you should be able to beat that anyway. Nadal's group has got Rublev. He's got in good form lately, so that's harder than playing Schwartzman. But as far as the 5-6 sort of ranking and the 3-4, you're stuck with these two informed players in Djokovic's group of and Medvedev and also Zverev, as opposed to Clay Quarter in Thiem, who hasn't done anything for a while and coming off an injury, and then Tsitsipas, who hasn't done anything. And then if you get those two guys, you get the hardest lower ranked player in Rublev. But it looks like Nadal's in a much easier group overall than Djokovic. But the negative side of that is if you assume the top two, Nadal and Djokovic, should be in the semi-final, then you play the opposing group. So for Djokovic, it's a harder group stage. If he gets through, it's an easier semi-final. But then it could cause him to have a hard group stage plus Nadal in the semi-finals. Because if this means Djokovic wins enough to get into the semi-finals but not wins the group, then he could be playing Nadal, because Nadal in the weaker group has a great chance to win it. So that's the sort of situation there. So as far as the semi-finals, Djokovic has an advantage with this. As far as the group stage, Nadal has an advantage. I think Schwartzman was going to be sort of pushed out of a chance to win a match in that group, in Djokovic's group. So there were going to be three players that could qualify for the semi-finals, Djokovic being one, Zverev being another, Medvedev being another. Djokovic is at real risk of not getting out of this group because he had that big loss in the French Open to Nadal, humiliating beating. Then it looked like it affected him. He couldn't just say, well, that's Nadal at the French Open, moving on. He got beaten by a lower ranked player 6-1, 6-2 in Vienna. So now he's going to be playing in this tough group. If his level isn't much better than it's been, which he could get his level all the way back to his best. If he does, he'll get out of the group. But if he doesn't, the way Zverev's played the last few weeks, beating Nadal, getting into the Paris finals is going to be a very tough situation. Very tough situation there for Djokovic against Zverev if he's not at his best. And then against Medvedev, another extremely tough match for Djokovic. And if he were to lose both of them, he'll probably beat Schwartzman and win one out of his three matches and not qualify. So that's the issue. But for Nadal, great chance to win his group. Good chance against Thiem, especially he played in Paris. Thiem's been injured and didn't play the best in Paris, got better. But the fact is, neither of them like an indoor fast court. But Nadal at least has those four matches about a week ago in Paris. Thiem recovering from an injury, hasn't really been able to build anything consistently. But Nadal has had that French Open win followed by four matches on this surface. I would favour Nadal in that match. If you move on from that and say, well, Tsitsipas hasn't done much. So as far as a top 8, you'd want him in your group. So Nadal would have a great chance. Tsitsipas, Rublev, the lowest than 8 player, maybe the hardest match Nadal will face. But because, like I said, he's good for the bottom of the 8, but probably not quite good enough to beat Nadal. So Nadal's a great chance to win all 3. I'm going to say he wins all 3 games here. Yeah, so I'm going to give it to Nadal. I'm going to say he's going to get all 3. The other group, there are 3 guys, Zverev, Djokovic, and Medvedev. I say Medvedev wins the group. It's that Zverev-Djokovic match that will decide who joins him. And the winner will probably meet Nadal in the semi-finals. If Zverev's playing how he's been and Djokovic how he was in Vienna and the French Open final and losing confidence, Zverev will get him. If Djokovic goes back to near his best, Zverev's going to feel pressure and struggle with the double faults and the big moments and probably lose, but that's a flip of a coin. So I don't know who's going to go through there. I think ultimately Medvedev is going to be the favorite. I'm not going to bank on Djokovic. Could get back to his best and win the whole thing and not lose a match because this surface really suits his game. This surface, it really suits his game. So he could win. I'm going to say he's the third favorite behind Medvedev and Nadal. I just think with the French Open win for Nadal, Paris, he wasn't trying to peak. He was trying to get matches to be ready for here. And then a week of practice after that, I think and then the round robin where you can lose a match, the easiest group. He'll have really till the semi-finals. He's pretty much guaranteed to get into the semi-finals. That's another few 3 matches in addition to the 4 that he had in Paris, right? So Nadal will basically have another 3 matches. So by the time he gets to the semi-finals and final, that's when he's going to need to play his best, or he'll be knocked out. I say he does play his best. He has a great chance to win this. I'm 50-50. It's between Nadal and Medvedev. I'd probably slightly go for Medvedev now, but flip of a coin, and then Djokovic is the only other guy that can win this. If he gets out of this funk from the French Open final in Vienna and plays his best, this surface suits him. He may well win. So for Djokovic, it depends on him getting back his best level, and if he does, surface suits him. Great chance to won this many times. If not, I'm giving him the third favorite because I don't know if he'll do that. It's going to be between Medvedev and Nadal, pretty much 50-50. I would say 51% for Medvedev, 49. I don't know the makeups of the semi-final, so I'm not going to talk about that. We could well see a Nadal-Djokovic semi-final and possibly a Medvedev-Rublev or Thiem sort of in the other one. I think if Djokovic doesn't find his best game, I think Nadal and Medvedev will win their groups and they'll meet in the final, and we'll get a replay of the 2019 US Open final here in the World Tour Finals in the final match. So that's what I really think is going to happen. I'm like, third favorite is Djokovic, equal top favorite Medvedev and Nadal. Medvedev slightly ahead because he won in Paris. If I had to say now, I would say Medvedev wins, beating Nadal in the final in the third set. So I'm going to go with that. I would say Rublev is going to play in the semi-finals and lose to Medvedev in one semi-final. That'll put Medvedev in the final. Djokovic is going to play Nadal. I'm going to give it to Nadal just because I just don't think Djokovic's level is high. The confidence after the French Open final, so I'd give it to Nadal. Then the Nadal-Medvedev final on 50-50. It will go to a third set. Right now, I'm giving it to Medvedev. But if Nadal shows a good level, I'm going to change. If he peaks and he hits his top level through the 3-round robin in the semi-final, I'll definitely be going for Nadal. Like I said, I'm only 51-49 for Medvedev. So Nadal wouldn't have to really improve much for me to pick him. But he's the second favorite. Djokovic is the third favorite. I think everybody else is locked out of this. They can't win. Like Thiem, after not doing that well at the French Open or Vienna, to come into an indoor hard court with the top 8, I just don't see it. Tsitsipas hasn't done anything. I don't see it. Zverev's been playing well, but the pressure of winning this type of tournament, even though he's done it before, what happened to him in the final in Paris? Like, I just don't see that he could win here. The bottom 2 ranked players, like Schwartzman, no way, he couldn't do it. And then Rublev may have a small chance, but he'll probably make the semi-finals, lose to Nadal, win the other 2 matches, and go out to Medvedev. So it's going to be between those 3. And with Djokovic, it's dependent on him getting back his form and confidence. If he doesn't, then it's a 2-man race between Medvedev and Nadal. And that's why I'm predicting A Medvedev-Nadal final. With right now, just because Medvedev won Paris, I'm slightly giving it to him to be the World Tour Finals champion. But I really think if Nadal is going to win this thing, he's got to do it this year. His body is physically run down. Like in the this tournament, he never has a chance. This time, you got the 7-month break. You play in Rome, get 3 matches, right? You play in Rome, and then you play 7 matches in Roland Garros. You've got 10 matches under your belt. Wrong surface. So now you just need a few more matches after a 3-month break. You want it to be on the surface you're playing this top 8 tournament. You get those matches in Paris. So now you've got the 10 matches on clay. Now it's 14 matches, and your 4 most recent matches are the indoor hard court. Your body's not run down at the end of the last year. It's 14 matches off a 7-month break. You're not underdone because you've got the 14 matches since the break. You can't say you haven't played on this surface because you've done Paris right before. Everything is ideal. Not too much, not enough, not enough on this type of surface. He'll never get a chance like this. His body will always be run down at the end of the year, and he's trying to win on his worst surface against the highest quality top 8 every single match for Nadal when his body's run down. So to play the top 8 where the level's highest in every sort of every match, and then to have to do that on your worst surface when your body's run down, that's why he hasn't won it. But this year, his body's fresh to face the ultimate challenge of a top 8 tournament, best level in every match on your worst surface. But his body's ready to do it. So it's still not guaranteed because it's the best fighting the best on your worst surface, but it's the best chance he's ever going to get. Right now, I'm giving him second favorite, but he should really capitalize on this. So that's my preview. I'm going to make a semi-final and a final preview of this tournament. I'm going to review the round robin, and then I'm going to preview the semi-finals in my next video. Then the one after that, I'm going to review the semi-final and preview the final. And then I'll review the final when the tournament ends. If there's any great matches during the round robin, I'll make a video during the round robin. But probably you won't hear from me until the round robin is over and the semi-final is set. So please subscribe, give me the thumbs up, the bell notification, all that stuff. But if I get your subscription, I'm going to go over tactics of all the best players on all the surfaces. In the off season, I've got an interview of Roger Federer. I've got so much amazing stuff coming up that you're going to love. So just subscribe and thumbs up and bell notification. Have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to see you again for the next video. Bye for now. Bye then.